Hey, welcome back to Enigmatica 2, where in the last video, we set up this extremely basic fusion crafting setup, meaning we've completed possibly the most important step of Draconic Evolution. There's still quite a lot to go though, because now, to go any further in the mod, I'm basically just going to have to continuously upgrade to different fusion crafting injectors, and to do that, I'm going to need to get a lot more wyvern cores. So I should probably automate it the way that I've done with the draconic cores. However, to automate it that way is going to be... it's going to take some work, to be brief. Because I've been looking through all the things I'm going to need here, and it's quite a doozy. I can get into specifics along the way, but it's going to require a lot of dealing with. I'm not really bothered to hook up the smeltery. That'd be a lot more of a pain than it's worth. So I'm going to have to deal with alloy tanks, similar to how I've done down here. Ooh, except I can't make Mirian with alloy tanks. There's no way to connect 5 alloy tanks together. But I don't know so much about some of the base materials. Mirian is really easy to get manually anyway. I haven't figured out how to automate everything here, but I figured out enough to, at the very least, make this a hell of a lot easier. Although, to get some of these materials, I'm going to have to go quite far out of my way to actually automate the materials themselves, let alone the crafting processes. There's a lot to be getting into here, and I'm not sure where to start. I guess this carpenter is used quite a lot, so I can work towards that. But I'm wondering what the biggest thing here would be. Oh, wait, I hadn't considered the shulkers. I might just have to do some of these manually. I can speed up the shulkers by utilizing the mob duplicators as well, but there's no easy automatic way to kill the shulkers, so I'll just have to do that myself. Yeah, a lot of this is going to have to be manual. I can't fully automate everything, much like how I haven't automated absolutely everything for the machine case. But if I can automate the annoying stuff, then that'll still make this a hell of a lot easier to deal with. So, I think the first thing I'm going to do here is figure out how to get all of these base materials. And I think the big one I'm seeing is the Ender Amethyst, because this is going to need a new seed. Yeah, this is a big one. But I already have the iridescent altar. I have the rock crystal configured to that constellation, Avitas. I can get the insanium very easily. Like, literally, just do that. I've got spec crystalline, tier 5 essence, I've got a ton of draconium, growth lenses, not a big deal. Yeah, it's basically just these blocks of amethyst. And for that, I'm going to have to take the laser drill back to the end for a bit. So I'm just going to pack this all up, grab some conduits and a power source, and then be on my way to the end. So I'm just going to set this up in exactly the same way that I set it up for the other Ender Amethysts, except this time I'm not bothering with items, because there's plenty of internal storage here anyway. And while I leave that to go, I've got a little bit of a side quest. I got the remote getaway achievement. I'm not sure how I got those initial shulker shells if I've never been to the end through the end gateways before. Probably a loot crate. But either way, I just need to go to an end fortress, which is very close. This is very lucky. And I'll grab a shulker, just for use later, and kill some time. I'm just gonna raid this end city. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's the last shulker here, meaning I've now checked out this entire end city. Took a while, but I got a bunch of good stuff out of it. Now I'll just make my way back and see how the drill's going. It's gotten some more Ender Amethyst, but I think it might have been unloaded most of that time. Well, it's reasonably fast anyway, so I'm fine to just leave this be for a little bit. Okay, I think 20 Ender Amethyst is going to be good enough. So I'll just go back, put the laser drill back in place, and get those Ender Amethysts. 53, geez. That's absolutely enough for 4 blocks. I got a lot spare. So I can probably get everything for the seeds now. I've got 2 spare crystalline. I can get the blocks of insanium essence. I could make the tier 6 crafting seed, maybe not. How do I get sewage? Aha. Need an animal sewer. That's fairly easy. Then I guess I can just have a bit like this. Place a llama on top. Then I can connect it into power. Except it's not getting any. Ah, that'll do it. If I use the right conduit, now it works. So I can get that bucket of sewage, and I can get that tier 6 crafting seed. So then to get back on track, I can make all of those insanium ingots as well, and then steal just 4 draconium essence, and then all I'm missing is these growth lenses. Oh, and a nether star. I've got tons of those. But these growth lenses have their own requirements. Although it's still pretty easy to make. I just need it to be nighttime, and there we go. There's the 2 lenses, to then make the amethyst seeds. Now these are tier 6 seeds, so I'm a little worried. Nope, it just works out of the box. Okay, I thought I might have needed a crux, but I guess not. So, I think that's the only part of the stellar alloy that I had any particular trouble getting. The alumite, I can make in the advanced metallurgic fabricator. That's what I've got here. I should be able to just connect that in like that, make that recipe for alumite, and now I can just queue it up. That's alumite sorted. And then for enderium, I can just alloy smelt it, I think. And I've got all of that stuff, so I can get the enderium blocks pretty easily. Melodic alloy I've already done. Blaze mesh is extremely easy. And then I don't know if there's any easy way to do elementium. Can't do it with seeds. Don't trust the elven trade to be automated properly. Even still, I don't trust the mana steel to be automated properly with the mana infusion. So this I'm just going to have to do manually, and it's really not that hard to recycle stuff. So elementium's pretty easy. I will at the very least make a block recipe for it. So then that's everything covered for the stellar alloy block. I just need the advanced carpenter, and liquid DNA is an interesting problem. One that I might have to do manually still. Hang on. What's the easiest forestry sapling to get? Maybe the sugar maple? Yeah, that's this one. So if I just add, I think it was 50 sugar maple saplings to the recipe, I can do something about that. But now I need to make the advanced carpenter to actually run that recipe. So that means doing modular machinery again. Ooh, and some interesting things. Okay, I think I can do this. I'm just going to need a lot of modularium. And I think I may as well make a recipe for it. So I'm just going to make, I don't know, 100 modularium. I need more slime. 1 second. Then now I can make all the modularium. So that should be able to make me 50 machine cases. That should probably do it. Then what else do I need for this blueprint? I need 2 carpenters, a fluid storage component to get the ME fluid assembler. Then the 64K storage component is quite a thing. I need 27 1K storage components to make 9 4K components for the 3 16K to get the 64K. Then I just need any engineer's blueprint, and there's the advanced carpenter blueprint. Now to just get this giant multi-block, and this is going to need quite a few things. So I guess I can start with all of the modular machinery stuff. And the machine controller is possibly the most annoying part here. Mostly because of the ME controller, which is quite the doozy. But it's nothing that I haven't done before, and most of this I can do quite easily now that I've automated it. So there's the machine controller. What's next? Gearbox? This might be a bit more annoying. The iridium rod is pretty easy, and I can make the bimetal gear, but neither of those I'd done before, even if they are kind of easy. Next, I may as well do all of the input, output, and energy hatches at once, because all of these are fairly easy. It's just a bunch of these buffers and input and output ports, and nothing I haven't already done before. What next? Machine vent? Annoyingly, I need 3 of these, so I barely have to do the recipe twice. But the only real difficult part of making these machine vents is just getting all of the heat vents. But even that's not so bad, it's just a little annoying. So there's the machine vents. And I think that's everything else that I need for this. Aside from just a bunch more machine casings. I think I'm going to skip out on the glass, because I'm not bothered to do that, and machine casings really aren't that bad to get. So I need 45 total. I need another 44 modularium. Okay, 45 machine casings. Now onto the weird blocks, starting with a multi-tank. I can just make that. Okay. Then 7 gelid cryothium. That's not a big deal. I just need to melt 28 cryothium dust. Then 8 co-processing units I can make fairly easily. But last, there's this processor. And I think it's this machine. I need these card bases, which are fairly easy. So I can make that processor pretty easily. So then, I think that's it. Yeah, I should have everything. Now comes the question of where to put this. I don't think I've got space up here anymore with the other modular machine. I don't think I've got much space in here either. Could it fit here? Because this is a larger space than I give it credit for, and it wouldn't be out of place if it's being used to make wyvern cores. So yeah, I think I do it up here. Assuming, that is, that I have a 5x5 space. Yeah, I can squeeze something in. Just barely. I don't know how strict these machines are about where the inputs and outputs go. I don't remember what I discovered last time. But I'm going to see if I can't get a configuration like that to work. It only told me to get 7 buckets of gelid cryothium. And there does seem to just be a cavity there. So I hope that's fine. I'll see what it lets me get away with. But I think... no structure found. Excellent. So then first order of business is putting all of these back where they're supposed to be. Does that fix it? No. That makes me think that this cavity is not actually a cavity. So I'll just place that cryothium in. Still no structure found. Did I put the item and fluid ports in the wrong spot maybe? Yep, that was it. Okay. So now I have the advanced carpenter. And the inputs are in an extremely annoying spot. But I'll see what I can do regardless. Okay. I think that's something. I'm just going to have to connect these into power. So then hopefully what should happen is the majority of the items get transported over into this input bus. And I've blacklisted the saplings, which should instead go into the DNA extractor, which has this same saplings whitelisted, to then turn it into DNA, put it into the fluid input hatch, then do the craft. It goes in the output hatch and gets extracted on a different color, and not inserted into the chest, inserted into the interface. And that should be able to make a lot of stellar alloy. I guess I can test it. Oh, right. I still need to actually connect this into the ME system. There we go. That's it connected in. Now, let's say I order up 10 of these. I need to give it a ton of saplings and a ton of elementium, but otherwise, it knows what to do. I'll just put through 1 to test that it even works. It's going to spend a little while on the uranium and things, but once that's done, it puts all the items in place. The right items have gone into the input hatch, and the saplings have gone in the DNA extractor. I'll just speed that up. But the liquid DNA is going into here. But anyway, once this gets enough liquid DNA, it should... Am I missing one? Hang on. Something happened to remove one of the saplings, I'm guessing. Or not, or I was just impatient. It looks like that's all gone through, though. Yeah, I've just got a stellar alloy block. Okay. So now, to see if I can expand it to a wyvern core. Because now, the majority of this stuff I already have. Just need to make a recipe for the palladium. But then I need to do something about this primal mana. As it stands, I might have to do this manually? I don't know. Because primal mana isn't very hard. I wonder if I could connect it to the smeltery, though. Yeah, let me see. Oh, that is a problem. If I'm making the primal mana, the Mirian shouldn't have much of a problem. I can just blacklist all of those fluids, or just whitelist the Mirian to be automatically extracted. But the Osglow glass, yeah, I guess I don't need to do the middle ground. I very well could just do the primal mana. But then how do I extract this? Because unless I want fluid storage, and I do it that way, I'm gonna somehow need to get this primal mana to go directly into the advanced carpenter. And that's not the most feasible solution. I have an idea. I need another ME drive, then I need a fluid storage cell, so that now the ME system can store fluids. Then I need to make a kind of complicated recipe here, because I need the smeltery to do most of the work here. I need to give this all the precursors to Mirian, all the precursors to Oscloglass, and then on top of that, 8 lapis dust. Because all of those items together in the smeltery should make exactly 1 bucket of primal mana. Or rather, the Oscloglass and the Mirian. Makes more Mirian than Oscloglass. I can work with that, because I need this to be exact. So then I need to multiply all the Oscloglass things by 4. Because then it should make an equal amount of Oscloglass and Mirian inside of the smeltery. Yep. Next I need to steal this fluid solid canning machine. And where can this go? I guess I can stick it there with power on the underside. So then I'm really hoping this infinite water source, yes, puts the water in there. Then stick this in enrich mode, so that then this nuclear craft buffer takes all of the items from the interface. It puts the lapis dust in the fluid solid canning machine. Wait, no, the buffer doesn't go in yet. It's just a normal chest. And I'll also blacklist the lapis from going into the smeltery, just to be on the safe side. So then the lapis goes into the fluid solid canning machine, all 32 of it, hopefully. Once this actually gets power, then it creates the IC2 coolant, which gets extracted into the smeltery to create the primal mana. Oh, but does the interface not take fluids? I need a fluid interface. Okay. Is there a different way of storing the primal mana? Probably not. That's fine. I'll just get a fluid import bus. I don't really like to use import buses if I can help it, but in this instance, I don't have much choice. So it should import the primal mana. Ah, great, I can't see it in here. Or in here for that matter. Oh god, 1.12 AE2 is really annoying, having the separate fluid storage. Okay. There's the primal mana. I'm going to tell this to only import primal mana, so I don't end up with random jank. So then I can collect the 4 buckets of primal mana, and hopefully... no. I can't tell this that it's going to import the primal mana. Okay. That makes things harder. Is it just a thing with a portable tank? Nope. I'm trying to think of now some dumb technique. Ooh, I have an idea. And this is way overkill. Aha. There we go. New possibility. This could work. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go, but there's potential here. I just need to connect all of these accordingly, and then supposedly, if I put primal mana in here, how do I get it to extract? Ooh. Ooh. It got extracted. Oh god, there's liquid DNA still in there. Is that primal mana on the inside? I think it is. Hang on, I'll just get it to insert back in. Yes! Okay. I wanted to prove that this worked before I committed to any kind of explanation. So, for people that have no idea what I just did, this is P2P. It is an extremely unintuitive system in AE2 that I generally choose to avoid, specifically because it's really finicky. But if you, in the event that you've already got cables connecting everything, P2P is not necessarily a free way to do this, but a much, much easier way to basically create a portal between 2 points. So the way to think about it is I'm extracting here and it's importing into there. And as far as it's concerned, this P2P tunnel connects directly into this buffer. That's what I was telling it with this memory card. With the frequencies, you can connect to any number of different output sides, I think up to 32, but in this instance, you have 1 input, 1 output. So it's effectively the same as teleporting the items through the cables. And I've done that both with the fluids here to get the primal mana over, and I'm also going to do it with the items. However, I now see that I have to change this up a little bit. And also, that's what I'm doing when I'm right-clicking with random items on these tunnels. That's how I change them from being an ME tunnel to being either an item, a fluid, an RF, whatever tunnel. I have just had to look up what items actually work, because I have no idea how the 1.12 system works, but it's not too terribly different. Also, I'm just realizing now that all of this item filter stuff is getting kind of complicated, so what I'm going to do instead is just connect all of these to one extraction, and then filter where they go, and fiddle with priorities. Okay, this system now feels incredibly over-engineered, but to bring it back to the main point, now I don't need the fluid storage. I'm still gonna have that, because if I've made it, it's kind of useful, I guess. But now, I just tell the ME system to put these items through. It's supposed to be along with others. Along with all of the ones in the wyvern core. However, I've used all 9 slots. What's my fix here? I have an idea. But it's gonna take quite a lot more work. So this wyvern core recipe has 4 spare slots, so that means I can add up to 4 more items to this. The primal mana is made with 3 items. So if I can figure out the logistics to make a Mirian ingot, an Oscar glass ingot, yeah, just those 2, then I can get this to work. Okay, there's the recipes for Mirian and Oscar glass in their respective ratios. So then it should put the items into the chest and then into the smeltery, and it extracts Mirian and Oscar glass into the ingot mold, and that then extracts back into the interface. Now comes the tricky part of disabling this when I want to make primal mana. I couldn't do something based on how many items are in the smeltery, because either that'll turn off once they've finished melting, or I can't do anything in bulk. For similar reasons, I can't do a check for how full any of these other blocks are, because that won't do anything once the primal mana actually starts alloying. There won't be anything in any of these machines. Maybe I could do a check to see if there's items inside of the advanced carpenter, because I could do that, and that would mean that it only turns off at the smeltery once I've finished making all of the items in here. And it means I get to do more of my favorite over-engineered solution. If I do this, then I can tell this to only extract without a signal. So then, as soon as I input items in here to go into the carpenter to make the wyvern core, the items should make it into there, create a comparator output. I'll fix that in a minute. The comparator output goes into there, comes out here, and stops this from extracting so that all of the alloying can finish and send the items, or send the primal mana back to the advanced carpenter, causing it to complete the craft, stopping the comparator output, and unlocking the smeltery again. God, this is over-engineered, and there is probably a much, much simpler solution to this, but personally, I think this is really funny now, and I just want to keep going for that reason. But now comes this problem, device missing channel. Well, there's an easy fix for this. Just make the cable thicker. Although apparently this is only using 5 channels? What? And if the entire building is only using 5, then it's not a problem with the glass cables. Well, if the building's not consuming too many channels, my next guess is that I've run out here. I haven't. I don't know if that's properly updating. I'm just going to do that. But as expected, that hasn't changed anything, because this big main loop connects in here, which, yes, is using all of its channels. So then, time for even more over-engineering. If I connect a P2P tunnel there, I can't be connecting those, so I'll do it from here. That then takes its extra channels through here. Yep, device online. Shit. Oh, yes. These devices are online. Okay. Oh, this is so over-engineered, and I love it. So now, to finalize this, I can add the primal mana ingredients to the wyvern core, and then in theory, I can craft this. Ah, just missing one small recipe. Let me see. Okay, please tell me that this works. Oh, I think it's doing it? Right. I changed this filter to just accept the Mirian and the Oscla glass. All of this then makes its way in. It's not taking the Mirian or the Osglow glass through this extraction because the redstone is active. It's not got anything else in there, which means the primal mana's made it in there. Oh, right. Does this work? Yes. Then extract. It gets the primal mana, and it's made it. Whew! Over-engineered, but amazing. I have just noticed one small problem with this, and that is that I've forgotten to account for the fact that I only need half a bucket of primal mana. So I'll just double the quantities. It should double the wyvern cores. I don't have a second wyvern core to be able to tell it, and the middle click doesn't work in 1.12. But it's not a problem, because I can just make one more. And this time I have to craft some Osgla glass, so let me just see that it does put it in the casting table. This works! And it's made another core. This is amazing. So I'm just gonna clear this tank so that I can craft other things in there if need be. But now, in the event that, say I want to make 100 wyvern cores, I'm going to have to manually get shulker shells and blaze powder and the lapis dust. Ooh, and it uses quite a lot of ores. There's quite a few manual things here now that I think about it. Maybe there's a few more recipes that I'm going to have to make, but the remaining ones I can make on my own. The bulk of the difficulty is done. And god did this take a really long time. I've been at this for 4 hours now. But I am so happy with this. This is one of the most complicated machines I've ever made. And has forced me to learn P2P in a way that I've barely tried before. And I'm pretty sure this is what people mean when they talk about subnets. So I am very, very happy with this. I now have more or less automated wyvern cores, meaning that now we can return to doing the normal draconic progression. I was expecting to do more in this video, but I have just completely run out of time. I'm still extremely happy with this progress. I did not think it would come to this, but I'm kinda glad it did, and I don't think I have anything else to say. So I'm gonna call the video here. Bye.